Hey, this is Max. I'm bringing you another CSR2 video. This time it's the Continental GT3R, which will be next season's Prestige Cup car. This information came courtesy of CSR2 Turkey, a group that has always managed to find out when what the next Prestige Cup and what the next milestone car would be ahead of time, and share the information with other communities on Facebook. I am part of CSR2 community on Facebook, and this is where I usually find out the information. Now, assuming CSR2 Turkey is once again correct, the GT3R will be next season's Prestige Cup car. For some of us, that's not a big deal. That's actually a good thing. I get to save keys since I already have this car and it's already built. However, some of you might be getting this car brand new, and in that case, you'll be starting off with the car, and you will need to run through all the supply cups to get as many of the fusions as you can get a hold of. This car has a disadvantage of not being able to get fusions from any cars that you can buy in strip. So unless you want to spend a lot of gold, I mean, you could buy the Bentley Speed for something like 3,500 gold each to strip for maybe 6 fusions. Not exactly a profitable endeavor, and certainly most people would not want to burn up what little gold that we earn over time on something like that. If you are unlucky to have pulled many Bentley Speeds in the past, you probably will have some fusions already. Plus, you should always pull your free bronze keys every day to get as many fusions as you can, and I'm sure you've saved up a few Bentley fusions over time. That being said, if you're building this car, you should focus on building initially, for the supply cup purposes, what they call TNT tune. So it's a tire nitrous transmission setup / tune. So if you put those 3 pieces to a stage 5 status, you can now tune the car to beat dyno relatively easily. The thing about this car is that its best gear for acceleration seems to be somewhere around 5th rather than the top gear. Now, if you really increased it to 5.0 just to put the top gear at the theoretical top speed, you actually have a lousy Evo. So what happens is 5th gear produces the best result. And lowering doesn't help. Raising doesn't help. Okay, so 6th gear, close, but not really that much better. But if you look at 5th gear, boom, right there. So assuming you're leaving it at 5th gear as the top speed, and how do you find out the theoretical top speed? Well, do a dyno tune. I mean a dyno run. It'll tell you, since your car gearing allows you to go to 320, it'll tell you your maximum possible speed is really 177 based on the power. Okay, now then, what happens when you set it to this point? This is a optimal tune for TNT stage 5 with full fusion, as far as I'm concerned. So let's say the dyno says you're supposed to do 13.4. Now you will try to run that as close as possible. This car is not hard to drive. It launches, then nitrous in second, basically perfect or close to perfect shift from there. It does get faster with the shifts as you progress with building it. So somewhere around the 690 pp range, you'll find that a first shift becomes pretty quick. Now, so I did a 13.477, not the greatest run, but certainly it's okay. It's a little bit slower than dyno. Well, let's say you want to beat dyno. You want to beat dyno because you don't want to match up with cars in supply cup that's going to be a lot quicker than you. Well, this car, until you put a lot of power pieces in, such as engine, turbo, intake upgrades, will be able to overcome its Evo points through additional grip. It'll actually drop the points by about 250 points. That gives you a 13.9 dyno versus your 13.4. That's about 5/10 difference. However, you can still run the same time that you just did with the earlier run. The only difference is how you drive. You cannot launch perfect now. You have to launch a little bit earlier so that the car does not bog down to 0 RPM. And if you get the launch correct and you just basically drive it like you did earlier, you will still get a 13.4 run. And there you go, 5 times quicker. That will allow you to basically get through supply cup without any headaches, because the supply cup opponent is still going to be based off of your dyno, which is 13.9. So there you go, dyno beating setup with the TNT tune with the Continental GT3R. You can adjust this tune slash setup by slowly adding power pieces such as turbo transmission, turbo engine and intake, and eventually body, and play with the grip and final drive to kind of maintain this dyno beating factor. However, I can tell you that it gets smaller in the margin. At some point it gets down to about 2/10, and then if you get closer to maxing this car, you can no longer use that trick. So, you know, it'll help you get through at least a good chunk of supply cup so you can earn those fusions, get the car built. Based on this season's experience, you probably will need good 3 S6s and some decent amount of fusions to actually win the PC Cup, where this kind of trick really doesn't help. So keep that in mind, and also keep in mind that this may be your one chance. Because it's a PC Cup, it comes with additional crates that you can pull using 500, or I think for T5 is 700 keys, bronze keys a shot to get stage 6 infusions. So you may want to save up some extra bronze keys for that. Well, good luck next season. This season's Prestige Cup has already started. People are already finishing it, and most milestone crews will once again get another milestone car to play with. Next season, some new players will be looking forward to getting a interesting 4-star car. I can certainly tell you this car, in my opinion, does not suck. And if you can get the fusions and the parts, it's quite usable. Is it as good as some of the 5-star milestone cars? No. But is it a terrible car that will always collect dust after the season's over? No, I don't think so. Much like the AMG GTR, this car certainly can be used in live after the PC Cup is over. And I will make another video at that time to show you a more built tune that I would use in live for that purpose. I hope you liked the video. Please leave a like if it's helpful to you. Feel free to comment. I like comments because it gives me ideas. It also allows me to understand if people have questions or I forgot to show something. And finally, subscribe to the channel if you like videos like this, because I will be updating the channel regularly. Thank you for watching.